if you want to buy an SSD, what SSD you should go for. So we have been using this for a long time. This is an 1 TB Seagate hard disk which uses mechanical devices to read, write, do all the routine process. And this is an advanced SATA SSD. Not advanced. So in this video, we will see about solid state drives. Okay, what is an SSD by definition? It is nothing but a solid state drive, which is an integrated circuit which are made up of circuit boards and many transistor resistors, stuff like that, and also which uses flash memory to read and write. Normal definition. But did you understand any of that? For the first time, I didn't also understand it. Okay, let me show you a living example. This is SATA SSD. 2.5 inch SATA SSD. This is the basic first category of all the SSDs because this one came first in the category of SSDs, and this is the slowest and which is far more better than a hard disk, but in an SSD category this is the worstest SSD. There are many types of SSDs in the commercial market like NVMe, M.2, PCIe SSDs. What are all they? Which one do you need? I will explain to you, don't worry. Okay, let's see about the types of SSDs now. We have the basic SATA SSD, and next level M.2 Sata SSD, and the next SSD is M.2 NVMe SSD, and the last one is PCIe SSD. So okay, let's see about the first kind of SSDs which we get in the market. They are called SATA SSDs. They are the compact 2.5 inch tablets which come in packages like this. Now let's unbox it together. So yeah, you would have seen this at 2.5 inch SSD. This SSD is a 240 GB SSD, as you can see here. There are a lot of variants available like 240 GB, 250 GB, 500 GB, 512 GB, 900 GB, 1000 GB, I mean 1 TB. Yes, you have available SSDs like that. These kind of SATA SSDs use SATA cables like this pins for data transfer. This is the first type of SSD. To say frankly that these kind of SATA SSDs are the worst class of SSDs in the category of SSDs. But it is far more better than hard disks because the maximum speed a hard disk can obtain for reading and writing is around 100 Mbps or something like that. But a SATA can do about 6 times faster, like 600 Mbps per second for reading and writing sequentially. This is the first kind of SSD. Now let's move on to the second one. Before going to the second category of SSDs, let me explain some terms you need to understand before understanding this. Those are called M.2, NVMe, and PCI. What are all these? Let me explain it to you. M.2 is nothing but a form factor. It is kind of an interface which is present in the motherboard slot, in which you can connect an SSD directly into the motherboard. Now let's go for NVMe. What is an NVMe actually? NVMe is nothing but non-volatile memory express. This non-volatile memory express is a software protocol developed by Intel, Samsung, LSI and other companies together. Around 90 companies have worked on this because in traditional hardwares like this hard disk uses AHCI protocol, but that AHCI protocol doesn't give the full support to speed of the SSDs. To overcome the speed of this AHCI protocol, these companies together developed this protocol. By using this protocol in M.2, we can achieve speeds like 6 Gbps. Now let's go for PCI. So yeah, now let's see about PCI. What is a PCI actually? PCI is nothing but a slot which is present in the motherboard. the slot where you connect GPUs, sound cards, USBs like that. A PCI SSD which is directly connected to the motherboard gives whooping speeds like 8 Gbps, 10 Gbps like that. These kind of SSDs are used in server SSDs. Now let's move on to the M.2 Sata SSDs, the second category of SSDs. I hope you would have understand M.2 NVMe and PCI SSDs. Now let's move on to the second category of SSDs. So yeah, you would have understand SATA SSDs before, and you would have understand the basic definitions like M.2, NVMe and PCI. The second category of SSDs are M.2 Sata SSDs. Unlike SATA SSDs, this M.2 SSD is nothing far more different than SATA SSDs because these both have same speeds, and the only difference is the form factor. SATA SSDs tends to be a 2.5 inch tablet I shown you before. So on buying an M.2, I wouldn't really recommend it because rather than buying an M.2 SATA SSD, you can go for SATA SSD because it's low in cost and the speeds are equal. SATA SSD which gives you 600 Mbps, also an M.2 SSD which gives you speed like 600 Mbps to 700 Mbps like that. So rather than buying an M.2 SATA SSD, I would recommend you buying a SATA SSD. Let's move on to the third category of SSDs. They are called NVMe SSDs. NVMe SSDs is, as I already said, non-volatile memory express. This non-volatile memory express interface gives us speeds about 6 to 7 Gbps per second. Imagine with those speeds we can copy GTA 5 like 6 to 7 times in a minute. Those are incredible speeds. So if you want to buy an NVMe SSD, it's a big premium, but if you are still wanting to buy it, I would recommend you to go for it. But your motherboard has to support the M.2 NVMe slot because most motherboards support M.2 SATA and most motherboards support M.2 NVMe. So before buying an NVMe, do check your motherboard. Now let's move on to the fourth category of SSDs. They are called PCI SSDs. This PCI SSDs is actually used majorly on the server side because 1 TB of PCLE costs you around 50 to 60,000 rupees. If you are willing to pay that for a desktop PC, you are a freaking billionaire actually. Say. Because the PCLE offers, PCLE actually has more lanes, right? So the PCLE offers speeds like 10 to 12 Gbps per second. Those whooping speeds, man, you don't need a server speed in a desktop, do you? So yeah, that's all about these 4 kinds of SSDs. So yeah, I hope you would understand about these 4 categories of SSDs. First of all, think about your PC configuration or your laptop configuration. If you are buying an SSD for your PC or your laptop, the M.2 should support your PC or your laptop. And if you're going for SATA SSD, think of what kind of category, what storage you want, like 512 GB or 1 TB or 2 TB or 4 TB like that. The more GB you desire, the more cost it takes. A 1 TB SSD, SATA SSD costs you around 10,000 rupees. And as I already said, if you are a freaking billionaire, you can absolutely go for PCI desktop level SSDs, which gives you whooping speeds. In gaming, SSDs doesn't make a difference. In gaming, SSDs give loading times faster. That's it. I think you would have understand about all these kinds of SSDs, and you would have hope you would have liked this video. If you have any doubts about buying SSDs or if you have any doubts about other stuff, feel free to DM us on Instagram, or you can send a mail to Throttle Tech. I'll put the mail in the description. Hope you'd have liked this video. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends. Like, share and subscribe to this channel, Throttle Tech. Thank you.